So news just broke that Shaq is now the general manager for Sac State's men's basketball program. And when I got that notification on ESPN Bleacher Report, I'm like, why would Shaq be the general manager of Sac State? And it turns out, I didn't know. It turns out that his son Shakir has transferred from FAMU to Sacramento State, so he'll be playing under Mike Bibby. And what does this mean? So we've seen athletes recently get the title of general manager. I know Max Crosby for his alma mater, um, Steph Curry for Davidson, and other guys have gotten that title. And in this, NIL collective era, you can pretty much assume what it is. It's guys who are more than likely funding, have a big part in terms of funding the collective, and being able to dish out some money for the players for the program. So that's what that means, in my opinion. I think pretty much what it means for most people. So we got Shaq, but Shaq isn't just a regular, this guy. He we know Shaq has many different businesses, different ventures. So he has a lot of connections, a lot of green, man. So this is going to be interesting, and of course, this is going to be, pretty much contingent on his son being at the school, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's a voluntary general manager. So I don't think it's any type of contract. I could be wrong, but that's what it seems like. That as long as Shakir is there, then Shaq is going to be the GM. And it's going to be interesting to see how, Sacramento State turns out in terms of, their football and basketball program, because not too long ago, I remember reading up on them when they raised a whole bunch of money uh, to build a new stadium, to renovate the basketball arena. So that's going to, with new facilities, that's going to be enticing for future recruits, and guys looking to transfer. And then on top of that, you bringing in Mike Bibby as the head coach, NBA, a great point guard in the 2000s. And then you got and I know for the football program, they were trying to hire Mike Vick. I remember when Mike Vick, he headed into he was like coaching carousel, whatever you call it. It was between Sac State and where Norfolk. So it seemed they're dishing out the money, and I'm like, who is, where did the money come from? Like, who is funding? So I read an article, and it looks like the SAC 12 committee is made up of the California State Senator Angelique Ashby, the California State Assembly member Stephanie Nguyen, Sacramento City Council member Eric Guerra, Guerra, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, as well as several business leaders and former San Francisco 49er and Sac State alum Otis Amy. So they've got, a lot of people backing them, back in the program, and want to see them, go on to that next level and reach new heights. Also, going back to the football program, they're transitioning from FCS to FBS. They're going into it as independent, hoping to get an invite from, the Pac-12 or the Mountain West. So we'll see what happens, man. Like I said, Shaq is big as a GM, because he can dish out, a lot of money in this pay to play era. I'm not sure what his other duties are, in terms of, I it's funny because I read the Max Crosby description. I forgot, I think Adam Schefter had like tweeted it, and it had all these different things. I'm like, is Max Crosby really going to sit down and do all of that? But nonetheless, you got Shaq as one of the faces of your men's basketball program. Um, that Shaq is, everyone knows who Shaq is. And then, like I said, the money aspect, and we'll see. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not sure how many years left that Shakir has of eligibility, but like I said, as long as he's there, Shaq is gonna be there. That's just how I look at it. But in the comments, man, let me know your thoughts on Sacramento State, with them making all these big moves, the new stadium, renovation of the basketball arena, man. Let me know in the comments what you think.